Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Wise Decision Maker Show, where we help you make the wisest and most profitable decisions. My name is Dr. Gleb Tsipursky. I'm the CEO of Disaster Avoidance Experts, the future of work consultancy that sponsors the Wise Decision Maker Show. I'm joined today by Colleen. Colleen, can you please share a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Sure. I'm the director of HR. I oversee 5 specialty and emergency veterinary hospitals. We see several hospital locations here in South Florida, also in South Carolina. I am the director of HR, so I manage all of our HR functions across all locations. I am SHRM, a senior certified professional as well.
Excellent. And I know you've been using generative AI in your work, so please tell me a little bit more about how you adopted generative AI. What are you doing about it right now?
So we use it in so many different ways,
Mhm.
starting with our applicant tracking system. So we're using it in
Mhm.
hiring. It's been very helpful in creating job ads,
Mhm.
also job descriptions. It also scores the candidates as they come in to see if
Mhm.
they're a match. It's been very helpful for our hiring managers in the hiring platforms. In our employee meetings, we're actually using Otter Notes, which
Mhm.
transcribes, summarizes all of our meetings. It's very helpful because it gives you action items that you can go back
Mhm.
to. It's cutting down our employee communications, making follow up communications much
Mhm.
easier. It's also great to reference it if you need to go back to something after a
Mhm.
meeting's occurred. So we really like that. It's been great for disciplinary items, helping
Mhm.
us write up warnings. Um,
Mhm.
really great for performance improvement plans as well.
Mhm.
We're using Chat GPT and Gemini, which I strongly encourage our managers to use because that's going to
Mhm.
cut time on their communications. That's also
Mhm.
helping them with written warnings,
Yeah.
documentations, and performance improvement plans. I think it's been particularly helpful because I
Mhm.
think what we expect out of employees today is a little more than we used to. And you
Mhm.
have all these different demands coming from different
Mhm.
angles. So I could be in one meeting and then I could have to
Mhm.
deal with a termination and then
Ah.
I'm helping someone with benefits administration.
Hmm.
So it helps me cut down on the time that I have to take to pivot to another one of my
Mhm.
tasks or responsibilities. So I really have liked Chat GPT and Gemini. It's also helpful if you feel the tone of your communication
Mhm.
is needing a little help. If you want to make
Mhm.
something a little more formal or informal,
Mhm.
or just need a little polishing on something,
Mhm.
I've really loved that. We also use it. Canva is another application that we use
Mhm.
for employee communications, employee flyers, and they've got some Gen I options in there, which really
Mhm.
cuts down on the time that you need in order, to create something
Mhm.
beautiful. My benefits administration person just let me know that this year they're going to be rolling out Gen AI with benefits plan administration.
Mhm.
So basically, I'm not really sure how it works entirely, but the employee will be able to answer a few questions and it's going to isolate the plans that will work better for them and their families,
Mhm. Mhm.
which I think is going to be helpful because in
Yeah.
HR, I can't actually be an advisor and I always have to tell
Mhm.
people that. I can just tell them this is what we offer and ask a few
Mhm.
questions. So I think that's really going to help take the place of that.
Mhm.
Trying to think of other areas that we're using it in. I think those are most of the places.
So it sounds like it's really improving your productivity, especially the productivity of managers and the support staff, HR staff. So do you have any estimates on productivity improvements? I mean, you're clearly it's improving productivity. I'm just curious if you have any metrics on that.
I don't have the metrics just
Mhm.
yet because I've only been with this company for a year, but I have seen
Mhm.
with my own eyes the benefits and how it is
Mhm.
really helping with productivity. Our managers are on the floor since it's a veterinary
Yeah,
setting,
of course.
so they're also stepping in to treat. And so
Mhm.
admin kind of gets pushed to the back end.
Yeah.
And this is really facilitated for them.
Mm.
Being able to knock out their admin responsibilities, but also doing it in a way where they're not shorting anyone. They're still
Mm.
getting that connection with the employee. They're just getting assistance from AI in order to facilitate
Mhm.
it.
So I presume your employees know that AI is being used. How are they feeling about generative AI use in these contexts?
I think they actually like it too because their
Mm.
communications they're receiving are
Mhm.
clearer. With the
Mm.
applicant tracking system, it has streamlined the hiring process. It
Mhm.
gets us, you know, someone that may be going through the system take 2 weeks,
Mhm.
you can get them hired in 3 days. So it's cutting
Oh,
down,
wow.
yeah, time to hire processes.
Mhm.
It's helping us facilitate the onboarding and getting that done
Mhm.
quicker. I think it's also streamlining the type of candidates we're getting because we're
Mm.
able to find people that are a better fit for the job ads
Mm.
that we're putting
Mhm.
out because it is eliminating people that aren't a great match that maybe
Yeah,
are applying without really reading the job ad, which happens.
sure, sure. So I imagine most people, because overwhelmingly they're on the floor, are not really worried about job threats in this in your firm in the clinics, right?
Yeah,
That's not kind
no.
of a anxiety. Mhm.
Yeah, we because it's more what they're doing is specialized. We need their
Yes.
knowledge. This isn't going to take over anyone's job. They don't have to worry
Mhm.
about that. I think in the end with HR, people will always come first. You're always gonna
Mhm.
gonna want to have that human interaction, and I don't think Gen AI is ever going to take it over.
Mhm.
But I do think it's going to help facilitate things. I do think there
Mhm.
are some flaws in it,
Mhm.
but I think that's because it's newer and they're still working
Sure.
out the kinks.
Mhm. So tell me a little bit about the issues that how did you start implementing? Like, what was the process? So it came out, the ChatGPT, which you mentioned,
Mhm.
came out in November 2022, and
Mhm.
Gemini came out a few months later. Well, first they had Bard, then they had Gemini. How did you
Yeah.
start using it? What did you do first? How did you approach it? Was it just kind of spontaneously starting to use it, or did you have a discussion among the leadership team and then rolled it out? What was your approach to it?
So I was already using it in my personal life. And
Mm.
so I started recommending it to our managers. When I came on to
Mhm.
this company, we were already utilizing the transcribing and summarizing so that was new to me. And it was
Mm.
introduced to me through the company. I
Mhm.
really liked that. The issues with that one is that it sometimes isn't assigning the people or their voices accurately.
Yeah.
Or if you have maybe an excited person in a meeting and you're talking over each other, the sentences
Mm.
kind of run together. But Chat GPT and Gemini, I have pushed to the managers because
Mhm.
it is going to save them time. And I know that
Yeah.
that patient care is on the forefront of their minds and
Mhm.
helping their
Mhm.
team. That takes precedence and priority over their admin responsibilities.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
the admin is just as important and they need to get to it.
Sure.
But this helps them get to it, be effective. It makes it short and sweet, and it's helping them
Mhm.
accomplish their admin goals.
How did you help them educate them about it, especially some of the issues with earlier versions of ChatGPT and Gemini had more hallucinations than the current versions, although some still do have hallucinations. And there are also some people have concerns about data privacy. You, of course, don't have the kind of HIPAA regulations that are for human
Yeah.
patients, but I imagine that's still something that comes up. Tell me a little bit about some of the concerns that people expressed and how you're dealing with those.
So the employees haven't necessarily expressed any concerns because
Mm.
I think the benefit that they're getting is streamlined. I know there
Mhm.
are some concerns using the transcribing thing because people don't always want to be recorded, but
Yeah.
we're getting explicit consent. We
Mhm.
also, it's in our company policy. We have cameras everywhere due to the nature of our business.
Mhm.
So they're aware most things are recorded anyway. So I
Mhm.
don't think
Mhm.
that that creates any sort of additional threat to them. They're always
Mhm.
on stage. But for Gemini, I have noticed because we use Google Workspace that it's
Mhm.
not as robust as ChatGPT right now. So I've
Mhm.
strongly encouraged them to read through those communications. Don't
Mhm.
just trust it as the best version. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's not always giving you a great version and you wind up going with your own
Mhm.
communication, but sometimes it'll help you polish it and change the tone. So I have
Mhm.
encouraged them to double check their work
Mhm.
because you can tell sometimes when something is AI generated. There's
Sure.
definitely little cues that and so I've just asked them to double check everything and make sure that the voice that's
Mhm.
coming through in their communications is truly the voice that they want to be
Mhm.
heard.
Mm. I want to clarify something. So you said during meetings you use other AI and you get recorded. were you talking about internal meetings or meetings with the patients and their families? Which kind of meetings are you talking about?
Internal communications,
Internal.
definitely
Okay.
not with any of the patients. It's more when we're having employee meetings, when we're having staff
Hmm.
meetings. If I'm having a meeting with any employee, I'm going
Hmm.
to have that with me. But also, if I'm having a meeting with my boss, he's going to have that turned on. Anyone
Hmm.
in the director level, our hospital directors, our C suites are all utilizing Otter Notes.
And what are your thoughts about bringing it into? I know a number of veterinary, I've worked with a couple of veterinary clinics that have actually brought it into meetings with patients, so and their families, in
Okay.
order to basically decrease the documentation that they have to do, that the veterinary staff can much more spend their time directly interacting with the patients, much less time documenting things because you just get a recording and it's all transcribed. I'm curious about your thoughts on that.
So they are using ScribbleVet, which is helping them take down patient
Hmm.
histories quicker. And so that is something that they're utilizing on the hospital end. And there's no real ethical risk there. It's just helping them
Hmm.
transcribe medical notes and things.
Hmm.
I don't think that they're using anything with the patients or the clients. Obviously, the
Hmm.
patients don't have voices, they're animals, but the
Yes,
clients
of
on their
course.
behalf.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
what I mean, the family, yeah, the clients.
So, but yeah, the clients definitely. I don't think we're utilizing there, but we've also got cameras in those rooms, so we can always go back to those tapes if
Hmm.
necessary to review any
Hmm.
communications that occurred.
Hmm.
But yeah, I know that ScribbleVet has been very helpful for our DVMs and our tech
Hmm.
staff in getting accurate histories.
I know that some vet clinics are starting to think about introducing robotics
Okay.
with the generative AI is helpful. I'm curious if that's something that you're starting to think about with robotic usage introduction into your vet clinics.
Not to my knowledge. I mean, we definitely
Hmm.
have some robotics over there, but they're more, for the common things that you use for surgeries and tools and
Hmm.
stuff like that. But I think for the most part, we're relying on the expertise of our veterinarians and
Hmm.
technicians.
Hmm. Okay. Is there anything I haven't asked you about that you think should share with me about your usage of generative AI and how you've addressed any problems and some of the benefits that you're getting?
I mean, I guess we could go if there's ethical or bias concerns,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I do see the flaws like I discussed earlier
Hmm.
with Otter Notes not necessarily assigning the right names. They're not,
Hmm.
none of them are flawless at this point, but I
Hmm.
do see that there's a path to get them to a place where they're really helping everyone and
Hmm.
doing a great job. But I still think we will always have to have some sort of human intervention in order to oversee and make sure that these systems are working to the best of their abilities and there's no conflict of interest. That's about it.
Excellent. Okay. And where do you see your use of generative AI going in the next couple of years as we finish up?
As I'm hearing, like they're starting to use it in so many different areas in HR
Hmm.
for benefits administration,
Yeah.
applicant tracking systems. I know with
Hmm.
recruitment, some companies are rolling that out. I've heard that
Hmm.
Amazon is using it even for automated terminations based
Hmm.
on analytical metrics. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for
Hmm.
adopting Gen AI. I'm not sure where it's all going to go, but I love grabbing extra tools and putting
Hmm.
them in my tool belt. So whenever I find something new or read about something new, I'm always very curious to test it out and see if it's going to work for
Hmm.
me, for our employees, and our company.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for sharing your expertise, Colleen. That was very helpful.
Thank you. It was a pleasure talking to you.
And thank you to the audience for checking out another episode of the Wise Decision Maker Show. Please make sure to subscribe wherever you checked out the show and leave a review. It helps other people discover the show and helps us improve the show.